Hello my dear gardeners, welcome back to my garden, and today we are going to walk around and tell you what's blooming, what's ripening. There are good developments going on with my concrete planters, so I'll get you updated on that and all the lovely little details which I'm actively adding, by the way, this year into the garden. And I think for small gardens, little details matters a lot. All right, the latest cement. Look at this. This is drying up right now. And what I did here, instead of using the form, right, to mold the pot, what I did, I used free form building. Okay, I will show you later. So I just stacked up cement on top of itself and made the pot. So I didn't know how that is going to be. So I was experimenting, and now I realized I can do free form statue in the garden in a way from quick set cement, which sets very fast. So before this thing is kind of getting super hard, but it's getting hot enough to sustain the weight of another layer, I put another layer on. And look, I used the same good old piping bag to do the decorative elements, and I'm actually trying to develop my skills of using piping bag with cement. And as I told you in my previous very hiccupy video going live, that was something. As I told you before, I'm learning all these skills from cake decorators and from people who decorate the interior of the walls, doing all sorts of murals. So their techniques can be applied to this. So this is my second attempt, and I think I am improving. So the next step would be to introduce birds, maybe mushrooms. Why can't I do that? Instead of that decorative piping, I can quickly mold a little mushroom, put it on the surface. Of course, it's going to dry very quickly, but I can do it fast. And this one is my second biggest project so far. This is going to be a stand. I don't know how it's going to look, but it's going to look somehow. I'm going to invent it. And this is going to be the girl on a swing, the fountain. I'm working on it. So this is it. This is the messy business, and I have to close this thing. This is my cement bag. All right. Let me show you what's blooming at my porch, because my porch right now is the most wonderful place. And by the way, you know what I want to do with this cement pot? Look how, oh, it's drying so well. I want to put it right here. Look at this. Let me see. Isn't that pretty? I'm not sure what I'm going to put into it. Little pots constantly make their way as gifts into my garden. Originally, what I wanted to do for it, I wanted to put this beautiful dwarf Alberta spruce here, but the pot is a little bit too small. Alberta spruce would look very handsome here. I made it too small. Okay, so scrap that idea. Then I thought I will put this willow here, which I gave it a haircut. You see, I'm keeping it in the water in the saucer. Willow is very happy, but again, it is too small for willow. No, I'm not going to do willow. Okay, I will see what I'm going to do, but this looks so pretty. Oh, you know what I can do? I can put temporarily my basil, not basil, my rosemary. And where did I put the rosemary? Who knows? Where did I put my rosemary? Oh, here it is. Okay, so this rosemary also made its way into my garden as a gift. Thank you, Irene. And I'm going just to plop it in for now and see how that goes. Right? Ooh, it's too deep. All right, it can go like this for a while. Looks good. I like it. And remember when originally I wanted to plant this pot, and I put seeds in, and some surprise seeds came up. So look at these beautiful flowers, corn flowers, very airy, very field, almost borderline weed plants. In Ukraine, where I am from, they're considered weeds, somewhat invasive. But here I look, forward to seeing them blooming away with that beautiful, nice blue color. So that basil, which I supposedly planted there, was this basil right here. And this basil is lemon basil. And the scent of those leaves are almost more lemony than basil. They smell so good. And even look so different. You see, this basil from the store, which I bought already as a baby plant, looks so different than this basil's lemon basil. I hope I'm not overcrowding this pot here. We will see about that. Okay, Lady of Shalott didn't finish blooming on this side. Look at this. So at the bottom, we have some blooms while the top canopy is being formed. You see, the new buds are being formed. Lady of Shalott is happy this year. I must say that roses generally are happy this year, and Lady of Shalott is doing great. Some teeny tiny signs of black spot, I must say, later this year than during other years, which is great, I think, because we had such strong winter, severe winter. And the plant of the month, of course, wonderful moss flower. I never grew it in the garden. This is the first year I tried it, and love it. This one had the misfortune of flopping because I was keeping it in the shade. So now it's trying to redirect itself. I see a little bit of paling of leaves. It's a signal that my floss flower is a little bit low on nutrients. Look at this powerhouse, how much energy it is using, right? So I am going to feed these babies more than less. They are on the schedule every second week. I feed them with fertilizer, but I think I should raise up the feeding and maybe feed it every week and a half, or even every week, because clearly you can see that there is this yellowing of leaves. You see no deep green color. And these are a beautiful powerhouse of plants. I love them. They're definitely a keeper in the garden. Tall floss flower. Let me show you what I did here near my arch. Let me get rid of this first. Why am I carrying it around the garden? Let me just leave it here. So my arch. I have a feeling that this season I'm not really showing you a lot what's happening in near my arch. I kind of am not there. I'm investing a lot of effort into my back sofa area. But here what I did, I bought from the garden center a pot with 3, what are these? These are bacopas, purple bacopas. And I broke the pot. So one bacopa went here, another bacopa went here. And this pot is kind of, I make shift. I just put a rope around it and put it on the hook here. This one is a little bit taller than that one. How does that look? Not really. I think it would be better if my bacopa will be here. So I have to put a nail right here and put the pot here. And because bacopa has a nice trailing habit, I'm not going to see what's happening here, that this is just an average light pot. Nobody will see it. But for now, we're going to put our bacopa here. All right, this Major Villa honeysuckle is growing. It's not as vigorous as I wanted it to be. Meanwhile, on another side, clematis finishes blooming. Suffered tremendously during the heat of last 2 weeks which we had. A lot of stems are brown. I watered it and It was tough for my clematis. Meanwhile, this guy was never watered. I just don't pay attention to this guy, and he is thriving here. This is another plant which I will definitely grow. And poor little tall verbena made its way out here. Unfortunately, she's not going to grow here, so we will take her away. For now, she is a weed. Raspberry patch. The best raspberry season. As you can see, we protected raspberries from birds. And look at this. Oh, the sweetest raspberries. I love it. My kids in the mornings, they go here and they collect those sweet berries, which is great. And every morning, and look, here he is. Butterflies are coming to the butterfly bush. Hello, little fellow. He's not afraid of me. Oh, he flew away. So we saw monarch butterflies, and they adore this bush. Look, all the blooms are opening up, and it's not the peak blooming time yet for my butterfly bush. So it's typical to have 3-4 butterflies circling around, and bees and carpenter bees going around this plant. Surprisingly, I don't see any pollinators around. Maybe because we have very hazy conditions. We have fires coming from Canada, and air is very thick. I think I'm going to go inside of the house after this video because air is strong. My daughter, who is filming, thank you, my dear. I'm not sure how she's doing in this weather, but we will go in the house. I want to show you another 2 roses right here. Look, they are opening their blooms. Oh, Vanessa Bell. Also a very good year for Vanessa Bell. Look at all this strong growth. Didn't skip a bit, I think. Oh, what in the world is this happening around? Oh, white flies. Why are they there? I don't know why are they there. Okay, get out of here. Let me see what's going on here. Why do we have the infestation of white flies? I have to take a hose and just spray it strongly to get rid of them. Usually those soft body insects, they cannot tolerate strong spraying power of water, so they get all dislodged and they fall to the ground and they die. So that's what I'm going to do. And this wonderful thing has to be rotated to regain its beautiful shape. This rose suffered tremendously during winter, so never again I'm going to keep it outside in winter. But look, nice performance from it, right? Already in bloom, second time, new buds are being formed. Great. This is a nice color here. All right, verbena is doing its business there. This Japanese holly needs to be trimmed. Beautiful plant here. I love it. This big green presence instead of having a lot of little things, because look, my back patio has kind of a lot of little things, but here this big presence of Japanese holly makes a nice statement. And my Vanessa Bell looks so good against that dark backdrop. And by the way, do you remember this little sedum which overwintered here? This is so cute. Remember I planted it? Look how nice it is. Overwintered here, all right. And looking so cute. Thanks to all these hooks I did. You see, when I built this arch, I deliberately left all the hooks. So now I have spaces to put my pots here. All right. Oh, one more thing I wanted to show you. Look at my gorgeous rose of Sharon. And you can really see her very well from the windows, from the house. Look, it's a very beautiful color. I like it. It's white. So what happened to this rose of Sharon? It's a replant. It was growing as a weed under my tree, and because it was growing so in such tight conditions, it was stretching its trunk, and I said, okay, I will make standard out of it. And look at this tree. You see how it is here? Nice long trunk. Poor dead nettle, struggling in the heat of the day here. Oh well, what can you do? And there is little oak growing, which, by the way, you know what I'm doing with those little oaks growing on my property? Because squirrels dropped the nuts. When I do pickling of my cucumbers, pickles. I use the leaves from my oaks to make pickles more crunchy and fresh. So that's what my mom did when I was a kid, so I'm using it. So she used the leaves of oak and leaves of blackcurrant. I have to ask her, why did she use the leaves of blackcurrant? I know the oak would be for hardening of the tissues of the pickles, but why blackcurrants? I will ask her tomorrow. All right, my dear gardeners, enjoy your day and thank you for spending time with me in the garden. I will see you in our next video.